Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Srikanth Redipalli. In this video, we are going to explore AWS Pricing Calculator. As a FinOps team member, sometimes you need to provide estimates for the cloud solutions which are getting deployed so that engineering team and the finance team would understand what would be the budget they are going to spend on deploying those resources. So for that, in AWS, we have something called AWS Pricing Calculator which can help you to estimate the cost for your architecture solution. This doesn't require any AWS account. You did not have any AWS account to try this. I will show you how to use the pricing calculator. And in fact, I do try to take you to a real life scenario of deploying a three-tier application where you'll be having a load balancer and one server and a database deployed in North Virginia region in AWS. And you can also straight away estimate the cost, generate the cost report, and use it for review, and also share it with your finance and engineering team. So let's quickly dive in. So right now, I hope you're seeing my Google search. So here, let me type AWS Pricing Calculator. So this is the first link which you see, calculator.aws, which is nothing but AWS Pricing Calculator. Once I click on that, it takes me to the page which I have shown you in the beginning about pricing calculator, right? So here in the pricing calculator, you can estimate the cost for your architecture solution. So let me quickly create an estimate. And before that, maybe we'll see how it works. So AWS pricing calculator estimates the cost for AWS products and services, as I mentioned to you in the beginning of this video. And first in the step one, you need to add the services that you need. And then you need to provide the configuration of the services in the step 2. Enter the details of our usage and to see the service cost. As I told you, cloud is about dynamic usage, right? So you can be like using a server 24 by 7, or sometimes you can only use it for particular hours, maybe 4 hours a day. So you have to configure like what would be the usage pattern for that service, and then you will be estimating the cost, and you would get the total cost from the tool. All right. So let's try to create an estimate. Okay, so what does it show? Search by location type, search by all services. So region, I'll try to choose US is North Virginia. And as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, we will be deploying a three-tier application, and this cost calculation is for a three-tier application. So when I say three-tier application, we have a public-facing load balancer and one application server in the private subnet, and also a database in the private subnet. For this video sake, let's assume we can take an Linux machine um, for our application instance, and maybe we'll choose a Postgres RDS instance. Okay, so first thing, let me add the application server details. So in AWS, the server service is called EC2. Let me search for EC2. Yeah, all right. I found something called Amazon EC2. What else we have? Amazon server, Windows server, and SQL server on EC2. That's not what we don't need it. So let's go with Amazon EC2. In the description, I'll give it as application server. Region is already selected as North Virginia. Tenancy is shared. Operating system Linux. And I'm going to run this instance continuously. So I have choose it as a constant usage, number of instances. I need only one instance. Now instance type, you can choose multiple instance type here. Within cloud, as you know, there are multiple instance types based on your necessity. Generally, the T2 T is the lowest version, and they're general purpose. Maybe I'll choose M series. These are also like high on compute and mostly used across the like for the web servers and all. So let me choose M5 series. Yeah. So when I entered M5, you can see it is listing me all the M5 related instances. I will go with M5 X large, which is having 4 vCPUs, 16 GB RAM, and network performance up to 10 gigabit, and EBS only storage. Yeah. So let me choose this. Choosing it. All right. So after choosing it, payment options. So I'm not going to have any commitments right now because I don't know like how many days I would run this instance. So I'll go with an on-demand instance, and I would say like my usage is 100%, meaning like I'm gonna run it 24/7. Yeah, so I gave this utilization percentage per month as 100%. So it runs entire month. So see, here it is showing you an estimated cost. So this instance, it's charged as, I think it's in dollars, like $0.192 per hour, and monthly it would cost me $140 per month. And let's go to other purchasing options. Okay, these are standard reserved instances, convertible reserved. Okay, and if you see, right, if you are paying, if you're going with these reservations or convertible reserved, see the monthly cost is almost reduced to $60, right? 70. So that's the advantage of reservations. The moment you give commitment to the cloud provider, they are going to give you some cost benefits. But anyway, in our use case right now, we are going for an on-demand instance. So we have chosen server, but we need some storage also, right? Generally, every laptop has an hard disk, right? Similarly, every server will have a storage where it has to store the data. So I'm gonna choose GP3 volume. That's what AWS is suggesting to go provision nowadays. So we'll choose a GP3 type volume. And what be the size of that? What is the size of the disk we need? In this case, I would need at least like 300 GB. So I'm entering 300 GB. Yeah. Rest all options, I'm not touching them. It's more about snapshot and backup. But for now, I'm only sticking to what is the storage I need to provision. In this case, it would be 300 GB. All right. So here also there is a cost calculation which shows like 300 GB, and I think it's 0.08 USD for per GB. So total it's giving us 24 USD dollars. So EBS storage would cost me $24 per month. Let me, okay, before saving, you can see total upfront cost here. Total monthly cost would be along with storage and server, it will be 164 US dollars. Let me save and add service. All right, so yeah, and if you see here, it's right now for the server, the monthly cost is $164. In total 12 months, it would be around $1,969, which is almost like $2,000 for the server if you are paying monthly just for the server which we are going to provision or plan to provision. So now we will go to the database. So we added server for cost calculation. For database, I would go within relational database service, which is called RDS in AWS. So for RDS, again, there are multiple flavors. If you see, Amazon RDS custom for Oracle, Amazon RDS custom for SQL Server. I'm looking for PostgreSQL. Yeah, I found it. So here you can see Amazon RDS for PostgreSQL. So that's what our team wants to configure. So I need to calculate cost for it. So let me click on configure here. Let's name it as our PostgreSDB. Alright, again region is North Virginia. I need one server. And here also you can choose the kind of instance based on your need. So in this case, it's given as DBMX1X large, which may not be sufficient for me. Let me see what is the other configurations. I'm looking for something which has 30 GB of RAM and 4 CPU. So yeah, so I think the M2 2X large would suffice my requirement, which has 4 CPUs and almost 34 GB of RAM. So let me choose this. That's right. And utilization on demand only, we plan to run it entire month, right? So again, I will choose to like 100% of utilization. Now coming to deployment options, it's kind multi-AZ is kind of like it's spread across multiple availability zones for resiliency, but it is a costly solution. So in this case, our engineering team doesn't require such kind of option, so they want to go for single AZ, which is much cheaper. By the way, I think here also you can see the cost. Let me quickly show you. So if you see, I choose single AZ, right? And at the bottom you can see there is an like monthly cost of 595 USD. But if I change it to multi AZ, see it's almost like 1110. It's like almost doubled, right? So that's where you have to be very cautious. So all the options you choose, like for better resiliency or high availability, they do increase cost. Obviously, you will, I mean, if it is a production grade solution or if it is something related to production, definitely you'll choose multi-AZ and all. But this is for a dev and test environment, so it doesn't require such kind of high availability. So that is where you have to make a smart choice of choosing single AZ, because here we are not looking for any high availability because it is just a dev and test environment. So by choosing the smart options, you can decrease the cost. So on demand single AZ, it is 595 USD. It's saying like, do you require any proxy? I don't need it because it's not a prod one. And similarly, even for database also, we need to provision storage, right? Even database requires storage. So for storage here also, maybe our team is requesting for 500 GB. So let me go with 500 GB. And you know what? Like in cloud, you can scale dynamically. Today I have chosen 500 GB, and after deploying, if they want to increase, they can definitely increase it to 600, 700. So it's always good to start small and then increase based on necessity. So after adding storage, the price increased a bit by showing the because of the additional cost of storage. If you see here, it calculated, right? It's almost like it added $60. So there again, we like there is some additional amount for storage. And it's about I think here about CloudWatch database insights, which is giving you much more observability into your RDS. And since it is an dev and test machine, it's not required. All right, it's in free tier, and I'm skipping rest all. They are not necessary. So now let me save and add service. Okay. All right. If you see after adding the database, the price increased. I recollect previously it is around some maybe some 150 or $160. Now it became $725 per month, and total 12 months usage came to almost like $8,700, right? So now we have added our instance, we have added our database. So let's now add the application load balancer, ALB. Let me see. Where is the load balancer load? Okay, yeah, we got it. Elastic load balancing. So let me configure this elastic load balancing. Let me choose ALB. Yeah. So the description I've given as ALB. And here there are multiple kinds of load balancer in AWS, but mine, what I'm looking for is an application load balancer. So that's already chosen. In application load balancer, how many I need? I just need one. So one application load balancer is hourly fixed charge of 16.4, I mean like 16 USD. And here it's about the amount of traffic it would handle, which would vary dynamically. But like it's not possible to predict this in the beginning until unless you have some dev or test data, like how much of data transfers to the LB and all. So let's leave them as is, like empty, and they're optional. So because we didn't add anything, it is showing like these charges are zero. But once you have understand the traffic pattern, once you have the estimate of how much GBs of data would transfer through this ALB, you can add them. So I'm just going with like without entering any values. So without any traffic or just having a, like doing minimum default thing, it would be charged around 16 USD 1 month. So let me save and add this service. One of the fields is required, it seems. All right. Maybe for the calculation sake, I say like it will process at least 1 GB per hour. Okay. Now let me see on that service. All right. So here the additional cost got added. Now let us view summary. Excellent. So on the screen, you see right now my estimate. Here also you can edit. Maybe you can name it according to the project. FinOps first estimate. Save. And here the monthly cost of hosting this 3-tier application is around $750. And after like for 12 months, it is projected around like 8,971, which you can take as a round figure of $9,000. Right? So if someone like as a FinOps team member, when the engineering team reached out to you with application, they gave you the details of the architecture, and similarly by using those details, you went to the pricing calculator and you calculated the price now. So this is the exact price which AWS is going to charge you if you deploy this application in the North Virginia region. But these details you can share both to your finance team and also your engineering team upon request, right? So this is the upfront cost. I mean, it includes the upfront cost too. And if they are looking for individually, like what is the each component price. So again, you can see like what is the EC2 cost, what is the Amazon RDS cost with PostgreSQL, and what is the load balancer cost. You can see like the EC2 is costing you almost like $164 per month, and similarly Amazon RDS is costing you with Postgres $561, and Amazon load balancer is also costing you $22 per month, right? So now you can share this directly here, share this as a link that will be stored on public. The calculator will generate, yeah, it gives you a publicly accessible URL which you can share with your team. You can agree and continue. Copy this public link and you can share it with any one of your team members so that they can also directly access this cost calculator. And similarly, you can export it as CSV or PDF. Let me export it as PDF. Okay. So it's generating a PDF report. Let it save there. So let me open this for you. Excellent. So on the screen, what you're seeing is the report which we have generated right now, right? So it has everything similar to like what is generated in the UI. So the same is exported as a PDF. So this report, it shows you the monthly cost, total 12 months cost, and individual line items. And the same you can share it with your um, engineering team and also the finance team. All right. So to summarize, we have started with our AWS pricing calculator. What is AWS pricing calculator and how to use it for the estimation of the cost for any of your AWS resources. And later on, we went to the pricing calculator and tried to generate an pricing estimate for a 3-tier application which your engineering team wants to deploy. We have calculated cost for an EC2 machine, for an RDS database, and for an application load balancer. And then we generated the report. So this report can also be, as I mentioned earlier, can be shared with all the team members who require it to estimate, who wants to know the cost. So I hope this video is helpful. It gives you a practical background on how the cost estimate generally happens in AWS. Hope you like this. Thank you for watching.